Alright guys, what's up man? Happy Sunday. Let's just give it like a few seconds or a minute for everybody to log on this Sunday, January the 11th. So I didn't really take any trades this week at all. More so observing the market to see if there's any type of typical patterns that are forming. So welcome everybody, January the 11th. It's a Monday, 11 days into the new year. Crypto anniversary is sometime around here, I think. I've been in crypto for 11 years now, for those that know me. Seen three major bull markets in 2017, 21, and 25. Well, sort of 25. I've also seen three bear markets, if you consider this a bear market. So this video that you guys are going to see today is actually intended for, one, the Platinum group, and two, the bear market group that I have, where every Sunday we're going to do this type of video that's going to kind of summarize the market for the month of how it's been trending based on a technical analysis factor only, and also look at some of the coins that have been trending on the weekly chart, reviewing them so we can get more experience, so you guys can also learn how you can potentially trade these types of future setups that are going to come up. The more you practice, the more you backtest, the more you review, the more you can refine and optimize your strategy. And remember that it's never about having multiple strategies, like 20 different strategies, 20 different setups, going in for the kill of every single trade that you think you can capitalize even a little bit. You can't do that, right? You can't be a jack of every single trade setup. You have to be a specialist of only a few setups. For example, myself, I specialize in maybe 3-4 shorting strategies and 1 or 2 very good longing strategies that have been refined over 11 years. That's more so catered towards my experience and also my personality, my risk tolerance as well. So always develop a strategy that's going to fit your personality and your risk tolerance specifically, and especially your lifestyle in terms of, if you're, for example, if you're with a family, you're married, you have kids, you're working a full-time job, you're working, those 8 to 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, it's going to be difficult for you to take on a tremendous amount of risk by day trading in a volatile market, for example. You can't do that. You don't have the time. Maybe swing trading would be better for you. So just a small example of how you also need to cater it around your lifestyle and exactly where you are in life, where your priorities are, your goals are as well. So let's talk about Bitcoin ranging in this range now for about, I think 52 days, 51 days now. I don't like this pattern, neither should you. So we're going to talk about the past in 2022, how there were 4 major drops in a distribution period that led to a massive profit for those that understand bear markets. The number one was this one that formed over 97 days, I believe, something like that, around 97 days. It breaks to the downside, okay? Just check this out, guys. So it breaks, first of all, you got multiple touches. It's a perfect pattern. You can't just change it because it's looking different. Like, for example, when you see it like that, it's like that. Okay, it's literally like that. Something like that. You've been drawing it for months now. You can't just change it all of a sudden and be like, oh, maybe it's like that because it's creating a new lower low. Obey the pattern structure that you've identified and also connected the points. Once the break happens, you have to zoom into a lower time frame. Zoom into a lower time frame. You're going to see it clearly break, and this here is a bull trap. Tries to get back above it, and it fails, okay? You can also see some support regions down over here. For example, right there. Always see support as a range, never as a specific number, okay? So this is the range. Here, 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 there, there, okay? So now that the major pattern has broken, what you're going to see is a support that's drawn twice, once, twice, and 3 times back over there, okay? And then I'm looking at it on a 4-hour channel now, or 4-hour time frame. I might even go lower. Now that we're right there on the cusp of a third time potentially bouncing, I would be shorting it if it now breaks the support after the main pattern. This is called trading the continuation in a bear market. It's something that I highly specialize in. And you don't need to take day trades every single day in the bear market. Just give me 4 multi-million-dollar position trades And I'm very happy in the bear market because not only did I take some big trades and won, but I didn't fumble in a bear market and gave away all the profits away from the bull market. Many people make this 360-degree rotation. They do very, very well at 180 degrees. They're at the top of the bull market, capitalizing. They turned a small amount of profit into something astronomical. And after that, okay, the bear market starts to begin. It creeps in. They have no experience. They're still holding on to their positions. They try to day trade aggressively to revenge trade. Remember that if you have, say, $1,000 and you lose 50%, okay, you need to make 100% more to double that back to where you were. So that concept is important to understand because we have to really be able to preserve our capital so we can protect it, so we can then grow it. Capital is our largest asset that we have, and without it, you're gonna not be able to take on the same size positions that you have. So just as an example of one of the key mistakes, okay, important for you to have a rule book for yourself of common mistakes. Read it once a week, maybe twice a week, so you can engrave these rules in your head of the common mistakes so you don't prevent them. I think that the difference between any successful trader and a trader that isn't successful quite yet, right? There's a pyramid that goes up, right? And at the top of that pyramid, there's that 1%. And at the bottom of it, there's gonna be just you know, think of a ladder of where you are. Literally, think of it, or a pyramid, okay? Who do you think is at the top? Right? Who's at the top of that pyramid? Probably a very, very, very small amount of people, probably about 1%. But you know, at the bottom here, there's probably a large majority, right? A large majority of people are probably concentrated somewhere there. You know, maybe even like 60%, 80% of people are still people at the bottom, where they're still figuring out basic things like risk management. How do they overcome these common mistakes to jump up to the next tier, to be more efficient, to prevent less mistakes, to be more consistent with their trading, right? So if you take a look here, okay, this is eventually going to break down. It broke the major pattern that you've been drawing for 97 days, right? It broke down. And here to here so far, it's about 23 days. But it takes a lot of time to plan a very well executed trade. Okay, I think that this is a great way to draw it. If not that way, then maybe a little bit more clearance like this, something like that. But either way, it's broken, okay? And it's also forming a low down over here where it's trying to smash it 3 times now. So this is called trading the continuation, where if and only if it breaks, you will short it with force. Make sure that the volume is also there for you to observe. Okay, you saw one huge sell volume right there. That was a large one, but you know, it kind of tapered off there. So volume is going to be a very good gauge as well for you to see what's going on in the market. Now that looks great. Ideally, you would want it to push back up to here so it'll retest. Maybe somewhere up there, that'd be great, because then it'll have failed once and also twice. But I'm not sure if it gets up there. I can't remember. So here, guys, on the 1 hour candle, it broke with force. That is where you would have entered, okay? You would have entered, but position sizing is also incredibly important, right? Because as a day trader, for example, you don't want to risk ever more than like ideally 1.5%. Sometimes you'll stretch it out to 2, maybe 1%, but as long as you average it out to somewhere between 1 to 2%, you don't want to take on trades where every time you lose, you're taking a chunk like 15, 20% of your entire account. So because of that, you either have to take reduced position sizes, or to take the same position size, you have to leverage higher. So these are some of the common mistakes that people are going to make, right? So position sizing is incredibly important. Where would your stop be? It depends on your position sizing and also your risk tolerance. So for example, on this trade over here, you would probably, now that it's broken, okay, it's broken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, it's trying to smash there. So where's the next support? Okay, now that this major pattern has broken, okay, it doesn't consider individual supports really like, you know, like maybe over here anymore, right? Because the overall pattern is broken in a major way. So the chances of it flying through here is pretty high actually. Now that it's broken this one, it's not, and also this one in the pattern, it's probably not going to respect this one right there. Why would it? The major 97-day pattern is broken. So logically, you're probably going to anticipate something like, wow, that's the next one. This one dates back like a long time, 480 days. So that's where you would be entering the short. You would have entered it already right there, okay? And your target would be the lower range over there. And this is how it was played before. So this one here, that would be your risk to reward. Okay, something like that. You'd be entering probably earlier. I would probably target somewhere, right, depending on your tolerance, up there, back into the channel, or just maybe halfway above here to really give it some room to move. So then all of a sudden, this trade, it turns out to be like a really ridiculous RR, a 3.3 RR. Okay, so that's a pretty good trade to have taken. And it smashes it and it hits target as expected. So if you look at this pattern, okay, this is the ideal trade to take. But it wasn't just ideal in that specific circumstance. Okay, it would happen actually 3 more times in a smaller scale. Okay, this is just a daily for convenience. So the second time it happened was right there again. The third time was somewhere in there again. And the next one was in a much, much smaller time scale. So these are the ways that you trade a bear market. You look for the first big one. Do you guys see this? Okay, it is irrefutable that you would agree with me with 100% certainty without any argument that this is the pattern that it makes, right? You'd agree with me. So now, if I went to today's date, would you agree with me that this looks similar? I'm not saying that it's going to be similar, but would you say that this is kind of looking to be the same thing? Where it's just after a major drop, it's almost indistinguishable the pattern that it's making, right? I mean, there could be multiple arguments, such as it could drop down and do this and then another rally. But then there's, if you guys ever go down ChatGPT and look and ask it funny questions like how long did the bear market last in 2017? Okay, so in like this is how long bull market lasted from the bottom to the very top. Okay, so in basically 2017's, it was actually about 1,070 days. Okay, in 2021, okay, it was about, I think, 1,061, and now in 2025, okay, it was actually 1,050. I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not making this up. Like, it's plus or minus 10 days. Okay, that's how long the bull market lasted from the very bottom to the very top, with like starting in 2015 statistics. So we're talking about 11-year statistics. Okay, and then did you guys know that the bear market from the bottom to the very top? Okay, bear market from the very top to the bottom. Okay, in 2018, okay, it was 365 days. Okay, in 2022, also 365 days. They both lasted the exact same amount of time. So because we've already topped, in 1,050 days, all of the indicators are kind of lining up to be the same thing. Yeah, I get all of the fundamental shit going on. Trust me, I do. But it doesn't change the fact that based off of technical analysis, it's factoring in all of that fundamental news right now, but it's still showing us down, right? There's no sentiment where the market is interested in going long right now. It's not showing that in any way based off of price action. And that's literally the definition of price action, where it factors in all of the fundamental aspects into a chart that can be read. So I see this pattern. That's what I'm getting to. Like, this pattern is bearish as fuck. And I'm just waiting for it to break down. I'm really just waiting for it. I think the first break will probably get to somewhere like probably these ranges. Probably like 76K, maybe. 76K, the lower range, maybe somewhere down over here, 72K. But I don't know how long it's going to take, right? Like right now, we're already 52 days in. The last one that broke down took 97 days. So you just don't know how long it's going to take. But I'm very excited for that because I'm really going to go deep into crypto at that time. So Ethereum is also it's very, very weak. Ethereum looks like it's making a gigantic ascending triangle for the next 10 years. That's literally what it looks like. Let me just have a sip of my water here. I'm excited this year though. This year, guys, in 11 days, I'm up I'm up $2,000. I haven't traded much at all, but I'm up $2,000 right now. I'm very proud of myself, actually. I was going to trade many coins yesterday, but let's take a look, okay? Just really briefly, total 3 market cap. Triple top since 2021. Ascending triangle since 2023. Total market cap, reasonable bounce so far, but it moved below the monthly kernel for the first time since December's bull market beginning. That is not good. Every time we move below the kernel on a monthly, it's always very bearish. It falls down significantly when it goes from green and it flips to red. Green flips to red on the monthly, right? That's one bull market. Green flips to red on the monthly, very bad, right? And right now, if you take a look where it hasn't flipped yet to red, but just based on historical trend, that's what you see, right? Let's take a look even further back, like 2023 days. So same thing, right? Every time it flips from green to red, it's horrible. The market just dumps. Right here, 2017, green to red, like every time. So we haven't flipped officially. Wait a minute. Now that I have more data, it's flipping back and forth from red to green. So it's still green. Maybe one more month it'll turn red if we close below it. So based on statistics, again, just based off of the history, every time Bitcoin's green kernel flips to red, it has a significant drop. So it's not looking great. I think it's just literally the setup and the stall, the distribution phase before we have this massive dump that's going to happen. And if you're caught in a long, man, like I would tell my family, my friends, not giving you guys financial advice, but I tell them like, you better not be holding anything long right now. It's not the time to be holding anything long. October. Second week of October is where it's like October is where I'm interested. Why October? Because that's 365 days from November when we reached the top. Or was it October? I can't remember. Yeah, October. October 6th. My bad. So 365 days goes like this. That's October the 7th. October the 7th. So make sure you bookmark October. I think it's going to be a good month. Imagine if I'm right about all this. Hello, Mr. Ali. Imagine if I'm right about all this and this actually happens. You know? Yep. People are going to look at me and be like, yep, that dude fucks. Fucks up the market, you know? So, but that would be amazing if I was right. So let's take a look at the weekly chart and see now. So for those that don't know, there's a little button right here, okay? Do you guys see it? The little button here. See my mouse on the right, the little radar. So it's called screeners. You can open it up and you can customize it like crazy, which you should probably do because it helps you find coins. The number one job of a day trader is to keep a watch list active so you can filter out which ones are the bad coins and which ones to focus on. And that's what the crypto screener does. So if you don't have this tool, but you're trying to do something in the day trading world, but you're not using this, you should probably use it. So these are some of the basic settings. Like you just click on the plus button there, type in what you want, what filters. I'm using the symbol type, exchange, quote currency. So this symbol type, right? That's you're choosing your perpetual, spot, or futures. Most exchanges call it the perpetual. Some will call it the futures. You'll figure it out by, like if I click on futures, right? If I clicked on futures, there's no coins. So obviously it's going to be perpetual, right? So then that's a symbol type. Then you also need to have the filter for the exchange, clearly. So pick your exchange, choose your quote currency. You guys trading USDT, I'm sure, or most of you. So choose USDT for quote currency. So you can just put all these filters. So just looking out at the weekly. So you guys know how the weekly is derived, right? The weekly candle. For those that are new, you know, the weekly candle is the candle. It develops and it takes shape and it takes 1 week to close, starting from midnight Monday UTC time to the next Monday. So 7 days, right? So this is the formation of it. So what this screener does is if you're looking, for example, on the 1 week, it's going to look at the 1 week candle, right? It's going to look at the 1 week candle. So this is all right to use, more of a basic and primitive version. I have a much better system than this, but we'll go over that another day. So now I'm looking for anything that moved up over 25% or moved down less or more than negative 25. So then you look through this column here and you see that the market has been fairly volatile. There's been some coins that have moved up a lot this week. But if you've also noticed that most of the coins are in the red, right? So a lot of coins are in the red here. And actually only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 coins have actually moved over 25% this week. So if you look at the list, right, I got 539 coins on my watch list on Binance, and only 16 of them moved over 1 week. So what kind of gauge do you have about the market if only 16 out of 540 coins, we'll say, moved over 25%? You would say maybe the market wasn't really the best, right? Considering that's such a small percentage, right? Not even a few coins. That's like, that's so tiny. That's how many coins is that? 5. That's like literally 3% of the coins. Is not that much. So yeah, so not the best week to trade. But for the month, a lot of coins have been moving. So on the month, like you're gonna see some coins that have moved up a tremendous amount. So the month has definitely been bullish. But the reason why the weekly is not as bullish is because a lot of the move happened January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So the weekly candle doesn't include those dates. We're a little bit further now. So on the weekly, I got all these coins as well. So a good way to review the end of the week is to have these top gainers, okay, that are you can't do every, but choose a good majority that you think you have time for. And then after that, they're going to be in your watch list, okay? If you don't have this shortcut, you should probably click here, go to open list, and now you can set your shortcuts. The shortcut will be arranged by the order that you put it in. So for example, right here, you see nothing. I will put my star in first because it's my main watch list, January the 5th. And then I'm going to put in my rallying and then my home default and then portfolio, old portfolio. So it's really good to go back and forth right here, okay? So now so now these coins are on your watch list, okay? Some were very good to trade, right? But some, I was going to swing this overnight, but I didn't because I'm following my rule of not swinging like when I'm trying to day trade, not swinging altcoins overnight. But this coin was really easy. I even said to my lady, I'm like, I'm going to short this. It's a perfect risk to reward. I was going to short it with this right here only. I was shorting it close to up there, right, when it was coming back down. And the target was actually right here. Something like that with like a 1.5 RR. And it happened overnight. So this, I think, was an easy short because it was compressing significantly, right, while bearishly diverging. Okay, so while bearishly diverging, every peak was getting lower on the 30-minute. Okay, also it was getting close to the kernel. The 45-minute kernel bounces, kind of stays close to it over here, right? And eventually comes back down. And the break right there would have been a perfect short. Just right there as it breaks, the higher low. So that's a trade that I missed. And then STX as well was a pretty good trade, right? I didn't take it, but I think there's going to be an opportunity for a short very soon. This one is going to be, I made a rule, guys. I made a rule that like I'm only going to work Monday to Saturday, like till maybe 8 p.m. the latest. Of course, not always trading, but do something with work, right? With social media, whatever. And on Sundays, I swore I wouldn't work, other than this live stream, just to kind of keep things like. If you're a day trader, you guys have to have a schedule. You can't trade 24 hours a day. It's gonna make you go insane, or it's gonna come at some expense, some compromise like health. And trust me, I felt it last year. So I'm not gonna take this trade probably because I don't have enough time, nor will I swing it. But I firmly believe that this is a 5-wave count, something like that. Okay, that's a 5-wave. It's the perfect 5-wave count that you could ask for in life. Like really, it's perfect, right? Maybe not based off of a kernel, right? But it's incredibly good. Right? So the kernels are even on some time frames where it's negative. For wave 2, wave 4, same amount. I don't find the exact kernel for it to trend on, but it's a very good average if it's below it, okay? So it's a really nice coin. This is most likely 5 waves that are formed in here already. I think it is. I think the count is something simple. Like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably a 3, 4 in here somewhere. That's a 5. Or in there somewhere, maybe there. So I think the 5 is in. Okay, so now that I think the 5 is in, I think that this is the first corrective wave coming down, where we're seeing the first 5 waves. 1, 2, like basically a 3 here. Maybe a 3 there. The 3 doesn't go as low, something like that. As long as the 2 doesn't retrace higher, you know, it's a complicated count, but either way, it looks like a diagonal, right? Like here's a better way. Like maybe A, B, C up there. 2. Actually, sorry. 1, 2, maybe a 3. Somewhere there, 3, 4, and somewhere there's a 5, like a diagonal, right? You guys get what I mean. It looks like a diagonal. Like that. So because that's the wave 1 down, I think this is the 2 up. So this is most likely like a 1, and there's a 2 that's probably going to go up. I think there's going to be a 3 coming down. That's what I'm watching for. Okay, so I'm going to put my alert on less than. So if it goes below the yellow, I'm gonna see it, right? So if you look here on if you look on the time frame I'm looking at now, see this yellow line, guys? It's ugly, right? It's ugly. So why would I put it there if it's ugly, if some of it goes under? If you go to a different time frame, right? Like you know, different time frames right here, you can see a better one. So you want to get like where the bodies are meeting. Does that make sense? Where the bodies are meeting, because then it counts for bull traps and bear traps. So this is the better support right there. Okay, that's why I put my alert right around there. Okay, so now I'm going to put an alert above there as well, because you're not going to be staring at your alert 24 hours a day or your chart. I want to know if it's going to go up to make that B. Okay, so it's going to make, or that wave 2, or if it doesn't, then it just kind of continues down now. So either way, I want to know, maybe I can DCA up there. Hypothetically, I'm not going to trade it, but hypothetically, if it was not Sunday, I would DCA up there and anticipate the next leg down, or I would anticipate this break of the yellow line that I showed you on the 2 hour, because then I might be able to trade the continuation. Because you have to remember how much this rallied. This rallied for a significant period, 70% over 17 days. It's probably likely for a correction. It's also making a very typical pattern, the ghost pattern that I call it. You can see the ghost. He's making his hands like that. See? It's going to go like that. That's the ghost. As long as it's basically a head and shoulders on our side. So this coin is very viable to trade very soon. I just need further observation. Okay. So Polygon, we talked about that already. CLOU, that was one of the most volatile coins this month to move. Man, it's so dry right now, even though it's rained. So that's a very parabolic move. But to be quite honest, I don't think many people would have caught this trade. It's very difficult to trade it. But I'm sure some did. That's probably a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. The 1 is the biggest. The 3 is the second. So that really threw off many people, I'm sure of it, because it's so rare for the first wave to be the biggest. So now this looks like it's trying to make a 5th wave of some sort, or a consolidation. Like I think that CLOU has more to go. Wherever it begins, maybe there. Okay, I think it's got more to go. I think this is a consolidation, not a impulse rally. I think it's gonna do something like a consolidation, and then the 5 is gonna break out. That's why I've got my alert here. Okay, that's why I've got my alert there. That's why it's on a low priority right now. Polygon's now moved to general watch list. So this guy's definitely deserved to be there. And Pippin falls significantly. Okay, I called that this was a top, but my short that I gave to this guy, I think many people either stopped out because it went a little bit too high there, but I would have DCA'd, man, if I was awake at those hours. Yeah, but that was a significant drop. So 32%. I think now that it's in correction, I take it away off the watch list. This coin here, yesterday we called that short up there. Okay, so it's now in correction, so I'm not concerned about it. Now that the week is done, we can clean up a lot of this. Bonk. Bonk here is in, it makes a fifth. It's in correction. I'll leave it. Pengu is in correction, leaving it. I don't look at the coins that are still in correction. Why bother, right? When it starts to move and it gains movement, I'll be able to notice it, right? I got this here, my kernels alert. Okay, the kernel alert tells me what's trending on the 4 hour. Okay, so for example, on the 4 hour, if any coin's trending over 4 days above the 4 hour kernel, for example, it's gonna notify me right away. Right, so I always look at these coins when the alerts come up, or on a lower time frame as well. It tells you in the 30-minute. So on the 30-minute, it's going to tell you if anything's trending over the kernel over 12 hours on the 30-minute time frame. So there's a lot of different alerts that the Discord group has as well. So definitely check that out, guys. So over here, let's keep going down. Okay, so these coins here, this one is reasonable. This one's nice. Gun looks good. On an 8 hour, it's, bouncing above there. But we'll see how it goes. I'll move this to, it's an interesting correction, but nevertheless, it's still in a correction. So I'm just gonna take it off the watch list for now. Okay? When these coins are in correction, I don't guess. I don't follow them and be like, all right, I'm gonna follow the 2 and then hope for a 3. Because 90% of the time, the 3 won't even happen. Therefore, I'll start to follow it when it gains traction, right? Like, for example, this one here. I got to restart this, by the way, guys. Sorry about that. This one here, well, I didn't even know it hasn't been working. I've been on vacation, I guess, for a long time. But this channel, it should tell you when anything moves 4%, right? 10% movement in 4 hours. So anything moves, it's going to gain traction. It's brought to your attention. So we'll just keep those there for now. XVS is still moving. So this is a very odd pattern. So we're gonna keep following this kind of coin. Okay, it's a very interesting pattern. It's not on the general watch list. It's still moving up versus these guys still correcting. I'm gonna remove these coins. This is a very interesting coin as well that's still going upwards. Okay, Polygon, I think I'm done following it for now. Anything in correction, I'm gonna remove. Okay, this guy is still interesting. It's still on its way upwards. And then after that, we're going to filter through even more. So Render is also interesting right now. Okay, it soared. Okay, it had a pretty massive rally. We're talking about, do you guys remember when Render was like $7, $8, more than that? What was the high? Oh man, I remember last year when I thought it was going to go to the moon. Things happen, eh guys? That's all right though, like next bull market's going to be a lot better. I just know it. So this one here reaches a resistance, right? Twice now. But I think it's trying to make a higher one. It might even reach the higher side. We'll see. But Render's a great follow. Even though it's very difficult to count, it's a great coin to be following right now. Philakone loses its place. So we're filtering from the list of every coin that has moved for the monthly and for the weekly. So Pepe is now in correction. So basically what we're doing is we're looking for this, okay? This coin that I'm removing from my watch list is basically doing this. It's doing that, right? You guys all agree with me. And then what you want it to do is you want it maybe like sideways a little bit, who knows, okay? But what we want is now for a big rally, okay? Well, regardless of if it's sideways or not, we want a rally, okay? We want a rally because we know that the third wave is usually going to be bigger than the first wave. This is the wave that you will most likely miss. That's why we missed a lot of this. Trust me, when I say a lot of people missed out on this week or last week, because it's the first wave. This one's almost impossible to catch because it's so sudden. It's like guessing. But before that one happens, you see this. You see choppiness. You can't bet on choppiness because some of them may just never go up. You also, but some of them that do go up, right, you're most likely going to miss it. So you want this one to be big. When this one is big, you see it on the crypto screener, you see it in the change percentage, you see it on my Discord here, where you're going to see it trending above the 4-hour kernel, or here, or some alerts for even buy signals that you're going to use as a backup for your thesis, for your trade. So there's going to be ways to see that this guy is moving. And then when this one moves, that's the one you want to make your money on. Okay, the third wave. The third wave going up is the one you want to make your money on. So it's okay if I remove these ones off of the watch list for now. They will come to my attention later if it starts to move again. So this is a pretty weak finish for the week. It's not a good finish, guys. It's like, that's pretty interesting. You know, like a lot of these coins are, there's not anything that's still moving right now, right? Nothing. So I filtered out through 530. ARK is interesting, but this is like, no. This is so sideways and choppy. Fuck no. That's so crazy to try to trade a coin like that. Look at that, right? That's the nightmare. This one's definitely off. This one gets on the watch list. Low volume though, I know that. Right, this one here, how much did that move? 6. I don't like the movement of it. Actually, I do like it. It's trending on the kernel. So I'm gonna trail this alert now that you see it trending on the kernel. See, whenever I check on it, if the kernel moves, for example, if the kernel moves up like that, I'm gonna move my alert above it. I'm gonna move it above it. So this way, when it gets close to the kernel, I'm notified, because I want to see. Well, I mean, think about it. This guy's bounced off of the kernel for 6 days now on the 6-hour time frame, right? So if it bounces on it one more time, it might just be like, you know, it might be like a boom bounce. So for example, if you saw like just replaying this, okay, just replaying it like that. If you notice, so this coin here, you would have noticed it for sure. Let's see, truth. Let me just see this 1 second. I don't know if I start. When did it start? Hold on, I'm looking. I don't know why mine. Okay, because it broke red. That's why it broke red here. Okay, my bad. I was looking at it for on my screener here, but it didn't pop up. But let's say that you're now noticing this coin, right? And you notice it on the 6-hour. It bounces every time so far. Okay, next time it gets there, right? Next time it gets there, right there, you probably want to risk a little bit, because if you zoom in. Right, if you take a look at it, it's fallen below the kernel, maybe like 2-3%, 3% maximum. So if you were to enter along there, you also have to position size accordingly, because now you can account for maybe 3% below the kernel. So here's 1%, and here's another 3% to account for a wick, and this will be trailed. This will be trailed, of course. Okay, so now, right? So now. You know where your stop loss is, right? You know where your stop loss is. Maybe your target can be something like up here, the next high, right? That's kind of where the last high over here and over there was, or even 50% there, and then maybe 50% the higher one, right? Just like hypothetical. So you would have entered along right on this candle. It's not that much risk. So this is a total of. Hold on, I did it wrong. 1%. So it should be 4% total you're risking. So 4% total should be 4% of this loss, whatever the dollar amount is, okay? It needs to be less than about 1.5 to 2% of your account size. So for example, if you got a $10,000 account and you like the maximum you can lose is 2%. Try to average it out to 1.5, I would suggest. So 2% you can risk of $10,000 is 200. That means that for this trade, okay, for this trade right here, the most that you can lose is $200, okay? So that means that if you take $200, divide that right there, okay, by 4, that's going to be $50, right, per percent. So you have to figure out the percentage size. So if it's going to be $200 that you could lose maximum of 4%, right? That means that, so what would your position size need to be? Just a little mental math. So if you lost 4% and it equaled $200, right? That would be like a $5,000 position size, right? So $5,000, if 4% of that is $200. So you can only be betting $5,000 on a position like this, right? So then you can see it go up. It hits the target, right? It hits the target clearly. So this one here, you would have won 4.462. Right? You could have done that, or you could have even, or sorry. I did it wrong. My bad. I targeted the top one. I didn't change it. So this one, you would have taken 50% of your profit, right around at the top there, made 11%, and then you can try to ride maybe 50% to the next one if you want to. right? If you want to. So that's where it's at right now. So the next time it gets to this kernel again, maybe there's going to be an opportunity for you to long it. So that's why you want to follow it. So this coin now, all of a sudden, bam, it moves to a high priority because the support has now held for 6 days and it might hold again for the third wave. Okay, so this is a great coin to be following right now. Let's keep looking. River, past, it's due. Rat, I never liked Rat. It goes off my watch list. And I also never liked any of these presidential type of coins, like, you know, Trump, etc. So that gets removed. So what we just did was we took a list of 540 coins on Binance, and then we narrowed it down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 coins out of 540. Okay, that's less than 2%. So we have literally 2%, okay, of the entire Binance watch list that are maybe tradable. Maybe it's good to follow these coins versus the other ones that are shit. So if I go to any coin on my watch list that's not, like on a general watch list, that's not on my watch list, most of them probably suck the way that they look. Like for example, CLOU, we're looking for a bigger pattern, right? That's a great one to be following. So you look at a coin like Hyper that's not on my watch list, it's just correcting. You know, River, it's just correcting, right? These ones are just crappy movements, you know. This one here, why did I remove this one again? I don't remember. No, this, why did I do that? Oh, I didn't like the movement, that's right. But I think I will follow this because it's moved significantly, okay? Millennia, I don't like these kind of coins. So these coins here, so this is another one here that I removed off the watch list, or it just wasn't on it. Maybe it's just got on it, right, on today's watch list. But it's only moved like 20% over a small period. I think I'll just keep it there just for now. So a lot of these other coins, they're not going to be the best coins to follow compared to the ones that we've generated a watch list for. So this one here, it just got on the list today maybe because it's volatile. Yeah, so it's only like 13%. The ones that we're following are moved over 60, 70, 80%, right, for the entire month. So I'm okay with just having a reasonable watch list. So I'm going to end the live stream actually, guys. It's already been 42 minutes. I have company over soon. So I'm going to end it. I just wanted to give you guys a reasonable watch list to follow for the rest of the week. And of course, as the week progresses and more data comes in, we're going to have a better watch list to work on. And we're going to be able to filter better coins to day trade. So thank you very much, guys, for joining me. If you enjoy these types of videos, to support me, all you got to do is just hit the thumbs up, guys. Thank you very much. Have yourselves a great night and have yourselves a great day.